So I just wanted to show you the sizing here of the bore when we mic them. But of course this process has already been done prior to this. We've already checked the bores and whatnot for size. So here's what we do when we put them back together. So we take our lube that of course is compatible with EPDM grease, and we put a nice film inside the cylinder. And we do that because of course we don't want the cylinder to rust. We find in some areas that the rust around the ocean, you know, even in high humid areas can affect these bores. It's a big problem for us. So we put a nice coat inside the cylinder. Then of course we're going to take our pistons that we've got polished and cleaned, and we're going to continue with them. So we put a little lube on the actual piston so that we don't cut it or course or nick it when we install it. Then we put a little bit on the inside of the cup, and then we're going to slide it on. We just roll it on, of course. And you make sure that it's fitted nicely into the groove. Same with this side. And we roll it on. And after we've done that, we take some brake fluid and we put it on the inside of the adjuster, because that's of course what lubricates it on the truck. So we put a shot inside, and then we would run our adjusters down. We make sure those are nice and smooth, of course, because that's what keeps the thing adjusted as it operates. So we make sure that it polishes nice. And then once they're all the way to the bottom, then what we do is we back them off a little bit. We back them off 3 turns so that that adjuster starts off the bottom, so that it's not right tight, because we find sometimes in the adjusting process that that's what happens. So that we do the same on the other one. Screw it all the way to the bottom. And of course, if we found there was any kind of hesitation here, we got chasers and we would chase that thread. So once again, we turn it back 3 turns. And then we're going to take our pistons and we're going to put them in the bore. So we've got it set up here so that with this particular one, you can just wiggle it a little bit and they just slide right in. So you don't have to worry about the cup rolling over or anything like that. It's just with a little bit of a wiggle and the lubricant that's on there, those cups will slide right in. Okay? So then that cylinder is ready to be tested. Now we don't test them with the boots on. We wait, because we find that we get a better test. We put the boots on last. Okay? So we're going to show you now how we put together a Spander cylinder. So we'll do that next for you. So we'll take this cylinder and we'll build it. Take that one out of the vise, and we'll build the other one. So of course, remember, we're just kind of showing you how we do it here. We would normally be doing a lot larger batch than this. So we take our same piston, same process. The difference with this particular situation is we've got a small O-ring, right? And that O-ring separates the grease . And once again, we just pop our cup on. And that's our internal one, of course. That's our internal piston. And this is the external one. The small O-ring that's on that other piston there, of course, keeps the grease that we use in the mechanical side of the pot away from it. So we slide that on. Of course, we'll put a little more lube on those cups when we install them, but for now. So the same process here. We have to lube the inside of the bore. So we do that. And then we're going to slide our internal piston. Put a little lube on the O-ring and the cups. And we slide it in. Now that only goes in so far, and then you have to put in your locking pin. You take and you put a little bit of 242 Loctite so that that pin doesn't come back out. So we just put a little on there, slide that in. You just have to adjust it just right so that the pin goes down, and then we snug that up. And that of course locks your inside piston from traveling from one side to the other. And check it, make sure that it locks and slides. And now we change grease. We use an Aeroshell 6 here. This is an actual aircraft grease. We put that on there for the wedge, of course, because the wedge is going to go down. Here again, we lube the wedge up really good with grease because that's your mechanical part, right? So your MA-15-500 is what goes on the other side of that. And this is the wedge that slides back and forth to give you your emergency brake application. So once you've got lots of grease on that, because you don't want it to dry out and you don't want it to slip, you slide that down inside. And of course the pistons are made in a way, they're beveled so that the pistons go up and down as the MA-15-500 applies and releases on the wedge brake. So this side is our outside piston, and so here again we'll lube our cylinder and we'll lube the piston cup up good so that it slides in good. And this is one, on this particular application we got a tool that we like to use to make sure that we don't roll the cup over or slide it in any way. So we slide our piston in just till it starts, and then we put our tool on that pulls it, it slides it, and then when we can push our piston in, and then it doesn't, we don't have to worry about it cutting, or it just rolls in. And then we can remove the tool, and we can check the piston to make sure that it's free and everything's nice, which is good. And then from here we're going to put in our bumper, our rubber bumper that goes in the bottom. Sometimes you have to tap it down a little bit further. And then once that's in place, we're going to grab our snap ring. Put our snap ring in place. Make sure it's secure all the way around. And we put our snap ring in. And of course that locks it in place. Secure. And we take our spring. And this of course is what pulls the wedge back. So if the unit is sitting free, pulls it back, we slide our pin in, we've locked it. Now, so we've got these both to the stage where we're going to test them. So we'll go to our testing station and we'll show you how